G'day, Starlo here. How do you like the look of our office today? Joe and I have taken a couple of days off and we've headed out to the Churros River upstream of Badalla to a hip camp property. Chances are you've heard of hip camps. It's a wonderful thing where you can actually go and camp on farmers' properties. They're all over the country. This one's not too far from our place, but we love the look of it. We came out here. We've got a couple of rods in the water. We've got our computers set up, and it's all happening because we've got one of these. It's a Bluetti Elite 200 V2 portable power station. Now, I saw my mate Roger Osborne talking about these on his YouTube channel a couple of months ago, and I thought, I've got to get hold of one of these. Well, Bluetti actually sent me one to try, so I'm pretty chuffed about that. You charge it up at home on your mains power. You can also charge it up with your solar panels or a solar blanket. And once she's up to capacity, you can run all sorts of stuff off it. I'll tell you a little bit more about the technical aspects of it as we go on, but I'm keeping an eye on those rods down there at the moment. We're a fair way upstream and it's getting on later in the year. It's mid-May now. The water's cooled right off. I know they get some very nice flathead and brim here at times. There's also some great bass and estuary perch water up this way, but I'm pretty sure the bass and estuary perch have already moved downstream, heading downstream to spawn. I'm hoping there might still be some flathead and brim up here. The water's cooled down a fair bit, but we'll keep an eye on our rods while we work away here. And in a little while, we'll cook some lunch and we'll run a few more appliances off the Bluetti Elite 200 V2 and I'll show you some of its attributes. Anyway, I better get back to work. Keep getting distracted by those rods though. No movement yet. It'll be a race with Joe to see who gets to the first one that goes off. No, we actually have a rod each, so we'll only go for our own, right?
Absolutely, I won't trip you over.
I can certainly think of worse places to spend a day, and having that Bluetti Elite 200 along makes it like a home away from home. This unit's considerably more compact and lighter than its predecessors, with a much smaller footprint and a total weight of just over 25 kilos. Yet it boasts 2 kilowatt hours of power with a 2,600 watt load capability that can be briefly boosted to 3,900 watts in its aptly named Hercules mode. That's a lot of juice. In fact, it could run a portable fridge for over 30 hours or a TV for close to 20 hours. And it'd recharge your smartphone from dead flat, something like 75 times before it needed to be topped up again itself. Durable too, with a 17-year lifespan or around 6,000 recharging cycles. It has AC and DC outlets and a cigarette lighter socket, and you can link it all to an app on your phone if you want. All in all, it's one very impressive unit, whether you use it for camping like we are or as an emergency backup at home for those times when the grid lets you down. Whisper quiet too. But let's get our priorities right. The first thing it needs to do is make us a great cup of coffee, which it certainly does. As the morning rolls on, we check the lines regularly, but apart from a few nibbles, nothing much is happening. Our old Kelpie Jazzy doesn't mind though, she's having a ball. The fish might not be biting, but the worms are starting to. Well, we're both getting a bit hungry, so we brought some fish along, a lovely brim and drummer fillets from some fish that we caught off the rocks the other day. And I've come up with a new way of cooking them, and it's using a sandwich maker. Most people have got one of these things at home, and a lot of us probably don't use them all that much, but we cooked fish in it the other day, and it was absolutely fantastic. So what I've done is just put a bit of foil in there, and I'll drop some butter on the foil. This is drawing a fair bit of power from the Bluetti. It's up around 1,764 watts, but of course she can output a lot more power than that. You can see how hot that is. So I'm just going to grab probably the brim fillets to start with. They're the thinner ones. I'll whack them on there. Put another bit of foil over the top and close the sandwich maker. And the amazing thing about this is how fast it cooks fish, especially if it's a nice thin fillet like these are. It'll really only take a minute or two. It's funny, it's reached heat now, and because of that, the draw of power has dropped right off to 0. So it's obviously reached its cooking temperature, and it'll only be dragging power out of the Bluetti again when it needs to come back up to temperature. All right, I don't think it'll be too far off. Let's have a look. Oh, it's looking pretty good. I probably should have put some butter on top as well so the foil doesn't stick. Oh, how good do they look? Just a little bit of butter on top. Close it down again. It's kicked back on now, back up to just over 1700 watts of draw. I've still got my drone charging, my power bank charging, I've got a phone charging, all of this coming out of the Bluetti, and we've been running it all morning. It's down to 85% now, so still a lot of power left in it. I reckon these might be just about done. Look at that. Alright, I'll lift those off, put them on our bit of foil. I deliberately left the skin on this brim. I scaled it, which I don't often do with fish. I usually prefer to fillet and skin, but I left the skin on, and that's what's stuck to the foil, because I reckon that skin will be pretty tasty. Now the drummer fillets are a bit thicker, so they're going to take a little bit longer. What I'll do is just cover those over, put a bit more butter on. This time I'll put some butter on top of the fillets as well. You can see how meaty the drummer fillets are, much thicker than the brim, so I think it's going to take a little bit longer for them to cook through. Generous swatch of butter on top of each fillet. Tear myself another bit of foil. Put it over the top and we'll close her up. What are we doing power-wise? Nothing at the moment, so it's up to its temperature. I've got a green light on the top of the sandwich maker here, which tells me that it's reached its cooking temperature. Now that green light's just gone out, and yep, we've kicked back in to 1700 watts. This is going to be good. Okay.
Awesome, love.
Yeah, looks alright, doesn't it?
Yep. And what's the Bluetti at now, percentage-wise?
81. That is delicious. You got to try that, fish fillets in the sandwich maker. Works a treat. Interesting, not a lot of difference between the brim and the drummer. Cooked this way, they're both delicious. Mind you, I think those are the only fish we're going to enjoy today. We're running out of time to catch something. Well, it wasn't to be today fish-wise. We had a couple of bites, but none of them really carried on. And I'm not that surprised at this time of year. Fish is really well up here in late spring and summer, and even into early autumn. But by the time the weather starts to get cooler like this, it slows down. But what a magnificent spot. Definitely check it out on Hip Camp and think about coming here for a couple of days. It's just beautiful. And We've really enjoyed having the Bluetti here. I can see why Roger was so impressed with them now. We've run so many different appliances off this one today and recharged batteries and my drone and my cameras and our phones. We've run our computers off it and it's only down to about, what, 78%? So there's plenty of life left in it yet. We'll take it home, charge it up, and we'll head off on our next trip. Anyway, until next time, this is Starlo and Joe wishing you tight lines.